We are out here at the Sacramento waterfront with a new and exciting camera from OM Systems. This is their OM-3. I've blacked it out because I signed an NDA. This beautiful camera is also being released with two new lenses, the 17 and the 25. These are version 2s of existing lenses, but they've added extreme weatherproofing. We're gonna play with this camera because it takes a lot of its innards, all of the kind of computer technology in there from the OM1. So you'll see a lot of the computational photography elements that the OM1 Mark II has that are just so fun to use, but in a very cute, very new package. Let's go play with it. This camera is going to have up to 7.5 stops of image stabilization. My shutter speed is a full second long, and I'm hand holding and I'm getting crisp, clear images with some little light trails. But I don't have a tripod. Isn't that neat? I am on a Ferris wheel right now with the new OM System OM-3. Now they say this camera is designed for the artist, for the street photographer, and they mean it because this dial on the front has a lot of custom modes. So right now I am on a color setting that is turning up the vivids of only certain colors, which is making that sunset look really pretty. Now it's also getting a little bit dark, so I have my ISO set to 3200, and these cameras that have the computational photography things attached to them are so good at managing low light.
Hey, look, we are back in our home studio here at the store because I wanted to show you a couple of things about this camera. One thing to note is that I don't have the camera in front of me right now because it's actually what I'm recording this on. I want to highlight some of the features about this camera that are notable in video, one of which being the color options. It comes with a couple of color features that are built in. This is the OM Cine Profile 1. It obviously has other color profiles like the flat, the standard flat, the log, the OM log, and then there's also the OM Cine Profile 2. This is the OM Cine 2. Given that I'm recording this ahead of release, I don't have all of the informational packets that can come with this camera, but I am told that one of these profiles is supposed to be a little bit more angled at, smoothing the skin and like portrait style. I'm thinking it's this one, but you guys tell me, do I look better now? You know what, I don't want you to answer that. I think this is the one. Now this is the bit where I'm going to run over some of the details, the nitty-gritty of this camera. One of the first things that you will notice when you are handling this camera is that it is a full metal body. It has such a good feel in the hand. It is very reminiscent of the OM film cameras, which I think is where they take obviously a lot of their inspiration from. But within that retro styled body, you are getting the top end technology. I think it's really important to note that when making this camera, they didn't cut any corners on performance, from what I can tell. They are continuing to deliver their highest end processor, their stacked sensor inside of the camera. And one of the things that OM I think is best at, and that is their weather sealing. They have always been excellent at sealing up their camera bodies to the point where they have an IP53 rating on weather sealing. There aren't many camera companies that will actually go through the rating process in order to receive that numerical rating. And so the fact that they do it and the fact that this is, I really hesitate to say waterproof, but it is splash-proof. It is something that I have seen people like dump full water bottles on, and it's good. It's freeze-proof. It is almost everything proof, and for legal purposes, I'm not gonna say it's everything proof, but by golly, it is a well-built camera. Now, the main thing that I think OM is doing in releasing this camera, first of all, it's their first camera that they are releasing that isn't an existing Olympus model. This is the first thing that they have developed and started from scratch on from jump. So this is a true OM system product, not derivative of Olympus, and I think they are really just coming out with a bang. So this is, again, the first product that they are releasing that is wholly OM systems. That's not to say that they're ignoring their past though, because they are taking elements from the Pen F that made the Pen F a hugely successful camera, And the biggest one, obviously, is that creative dial up front. I wanted to show you guys kind of what it's like to use some of the creative profiles that are in this camera now, because there are 4 options basically on that dial. There are color profiles, monochrome profiles, art filters, and color creator. I really enjoy the function of this dial. I really enjoy what you're able to do utilizing it. The only thing that I can think of to make this camera truly perfect is the ability to hit a button and bring up that menu that you see when you first rotate the dial into one of those functions. You can navigate to it pretty easily, so it's not like difficult. I am just incredibly lazy. So I think it's something that they can add via firmware, or it's something that I couldn't figure out where it was in the menu and it is already there. They could have already anticipated the need and I just couldn't find it because I'm a silly goose sometimes. Other things to note on this camera that are new, the dedicated still video slow and quick dial. So that is going to be switching you between obviously still photography, regular video, or high-speed time-lapse, slow motion kind of specialty video. There's a dedicated dial for that, so it's no longer in just your mode dial on top. I really like having that switch. I find it easy to use if you're a hybrid shooter. And they also have a new computational photography button where you actually, if you hit it and engage it, it will switch between computational photography modes. Now, OM is one of the camera brands that's using a lot of computational photography in their cameras, and you get incredible things like the graduated ND filter. That is a built-in feature of this camera, and they debuted it with the OM-1 Mark II. They've had the live ND filters available in a couple of their cameras previously, but the graduated ND I think is really exciting and very easy to use. I mean, it's touchscreen, so you can kind of finagle it that way or use the dials. But features like that. There's also the high resolution mode, so you can handhold up to a 50 megapixel picture, or you can put it on a tripod and get to 80 megapixels. So these are some of the modes that are just kind of factory wired into this camera that set it apart from other cameras. Okay, I think that covers everything that I wanted to make sure that I highlighted about this camera. Fabulous camera, really enjoyable experience to use, and the creative dial I think is a big win for OM Systems. I think it is giving the people what they liked a lot about the Pen F and making it available on a more modern camera with their newest technology. And to me, that's a perfect marriage. Obviously, at the same time as these cameras, they are releasing 2 lenses that are existing lenses, but they are weather sealing them so that they are more compatible with the kind of person that might be really excited about this camera, the OM-3. And that is the 17mm and the 25mm. These are redesigned versions of their existing lenses. They're both 1.8. They're both quick, they are both sharp, and they are weather resistant, weatherproof. They are weatherproof. Having these lenses come out at the same time as this camera is intentional because this is an incredibly well-structured weatherproof camera. And if you are going to use this in its best intention, you're going to want the weatherproof lenses as well. And the little fast primes, I think, work beautifully on this kind of camera. You want something maybe compact if you want to go do some street shooting or anything more portraiture, stuff like that. You're going to want something that's going to be able to withstand the same things that your camera can. This camera is going to be available for pre-order starting February 6th. That's today. You could order it body only for $19.99, or you could get it with the kit lens. This is the 12-45 f4, another fabulous lens that's also weatherproof, so you've got kind of the dream team. But in case you're unconvinced, if you pre-order the camera with one of the 2 new lenses, then you get $200 off. This is a deal that applies for the body only and then one of these 2 lenses. And then you've got yourself kind of the dream street photography, walk around, fun to shoot setup. Our OM Systems rep, Joel, will be here at our store on February 11th with this new camera so that you can try it out. The new camera, the new lenses, everything. Joel's gonna be here with it because we really want people just to see and feel and fall in love with this camera the same way we have. It's a very exciting day for OM Systems because if this is the first camera that they are releasing that is wholly and entirely theirs from start to finish, it is a good sign. You can pre-order yours today, call it in the store, pre-ordering online, or you could come in on February 11th, talk to Joel, handle the camera, and see what all the hype is about. The OM-3.